What's up, guys? Welcome back on my channel. My name is Steve Jamal. I'm sitting right here with my best friend Alex from Stockholm. Originally he's from Dusseldorf, so he came here like 3 days ago, all the way from Stockholm just to visit me. And me and him, we're like really connected, man, because we've really been through a lot of challenges. That's why I felt like, just sitting down a little bit with him right now, have a conversation about these ups and downs that we went through in the past 2 years. Because hey, man, we come from a long line of adversity, a long line of challenges, and we just felt like, helping you guys a little bit out if you face some challenges, and talk a lot about our stories and how we ended up now in Dubai 2 years later. Haven't seen him in like 1.5 years, right? So man, it's just crazy, man, to have you just came 3 days ago, right?
Yeah, I just came 3 days ago, and all I can say is that I'm very enjoying it. Dubai is a lovely place. I really enjoy being here. It's so cool. I'm very thankful to see you after 1.5 years again, that you took the time to show us around, and yeah, it's just very lovely. I like it so much out here.
Yeah, man, it's been really a long time, and I haven't seen you in like almost 2 years, man. I remember just the time you said, yeah, you're going to move to Stockholm, and I said I'm going to move to Dubai, and we had all these dreams and everything. And 2 years later, man, we're sitting here in Dubai. We're sitting here at this beautiful place right at the Atlantis and just enjoying our time. But you know what? Life was not always like that. Life was not like this, the way it is right now, and sunny and beautiful, and around great people and doing our things and starting Future 200. Life was not always like that. So we want to tackle a little bit today about life struggles and life challenges, and chasing your goals and chasing your dreams. And I felt like just sitting down with him today because he has a really crazy story, and almost like a rock bottom story the way I have. And Alex just is a big inspiration to me because I look up to him a lot. And when I think about his story, it really motivates me in and out. Just introduce him a little bit for you guys. He's a model, pretty successful model right now, a big time model for H&M. You guys see him on online shops, Puma, all these big brands. He's out there. But you know what? Like I said first, life was not always like that. It was different. It was a lot of defeats. And I want to take you guys a little bit back 2 years ago, where we were sitting in a car, and I was talking to him, and I was like, man, like, and we were sitting there, and he told me like, hey, I want to try it out in London. I want to be represented by an agency, by a model agency in London. And I was like, hey man, I was his biggest supporter. I was like, we're gonna go there, like we're gonna do it, we're gonna rock everything, we're not gonna go home without having a contract, man. And then on that day, I was like sitting in the car, we decided to take that move and to book a flight to London and go there and not come home before we're getting a contract. Was it like that, right?
100% like that. And so thankful once again that you just made that way with me all the way to London to support your guy for his dream or for his goals. And so that was one of the biggest challenges, and I'm very thankful for this experience that I made back then out there in London. And I'm very glad that you followed me on this path as well, supporting me. I think there's nothing that you could wish for.
London. I think London changed my life, and I think London made me a hustler. And these 2 days that we stayed there, I think completely changed his career too.
Absolutely. Because after all these L's, because you have to imagine me and Aziz just went to a couple of agencies, 10 and a number. And it wasn't really successful because sometimes they said, we're not the type we're looking for right now, we already have someone like that, or it just didn't work out because they were not interested in me.
Tell you, actually, we flew there in December somewhere I think a week before Christmas. We flew to December, right?
Yeah.
We flew there with little resources. Like, we were always struggling financially, always. So with a small amount of money, we booked a hotel room for 2 days, and we're sleeping there in one room. And the idea was to go there and talk to 10 or 12 agencies and get one contract and be represented by an agency. As we got there, I was pumped, he was pumped, and I told him, hey man, we're not going to go home, we're going to do it, we're going to become successful, we're going to go home with a contract, everything's going to be great. Make a long story short, it wasn't like that. We went to the first agency. What did they say?
Went to the first agency, and they said that I already have someone who looks similar than I do, which is not a big deal because you have to deal with that. When we prepared for this trip, I knew obviously you're not going to this place, and it's not going to be like, oh, every agency wants you, So you have to be ready to take some else, So the first agency, that was very cool because, as I said, I was already prepared in my mind with that mentality. You have to be ready to take those L's if there comes a L, 100%.
Yeah, and I mean, when you had the first no, I was like, okay, man, the second agency will be cool, and we go to the second one. So as we went to the second agency, and they said no as well, I was like, Alex, just keep it going, man. We go to the third one, maybe we had a bad luck or something. We just keep it going, everything will be all right. When we went to the third agency, bro, and they said something like this, there was a punch in my face too, bro, because you my friend, bro. They said they already have someone looking like you. And I remember like going there, and I was like, okay, can you please show me the guy? And then she showed us the guy, and he was like looking completely different, man. And it went to the third agency, they said no. Honestly, I lost a little bit of faith too, but I couldn't really tell you, bro. I couldn't really tell you, man.
Yeah, I mean, that was a punch in my face as well, because getting to hear that someone looks like you, it's one thing, but if you see the person and he does not even similar, it's a whole nother level, you know. But yeah, at this point, you know, after 3-4 L's, like, you kind of, you know, your self-esteem, your self-confidence kind of low, and you just go there because you have to keep going, and you want to, you know, just finish all these castings and just see what comes at the end of the day.
Man, we went to after that we went to 10 other agencies, and 8 out of 10 they said right away no. 2 said we're going to let you know, but I probably was think that they just said it because they wanted to get rid of us. Basically everybody said no. I do remember we were sitting at we were going back to the airport. We're trying to go to the airport, not even having enough money to buy the ticket back to the airport because the airport was outside of London. It was London Stansted. We were having to find stories, just jump in that train, and really being defeated, man. Like really being defeated, not knowing on how the outcome, and if especially, man, how did you feel, bro? How did you feel like there was something that you wanted to quit? Like you thought about quitting, man, at that moment?
100%, because the whole trip just started. It was like not a whole disaster, but you know, you being just caught at the embassy because there was a problem with your passport or something. Then us trying to go back to Germany and not having enough money. Then me taking all these L's, you know. It was just like a horrible scenario. Then it was a cold as London day, you know. It was a
really dark day, bro.
Yeah, it was really dark. And those 2 days really teach me a lot to this day. And yeah, I'm very thankful that I still made this experience, and it gave me a lot. Looking back, I would like to experience the same experience again because of the things that it taught me, you know, and it teach me as well.
You know what? Like, it later on taught me a lot of things too, because he encountered, not only he, because I encountered those no's as well. There were my no's as well, and everybody said no. Everybody said, we have you, we know you, we have somebody looking like you, we don't need you. Like, that hurts, man. That was like 10 times somebody punching you in the face. And when I was going back and I was thinking about it, I was like, how is he going to recover from that? How is he going to get up and do that? And you know what really showed character and how I recognize, and I have kind of somehow the same story, putting your chest out and being courageous enough to try again. And then we tried again. And then we went to Milano. And then we were sitting in a car again. And we were like, hey, man, London did not work out. We're not going to stop. We're going to go to Milano. So we booked another ticket to Milano. Same story, same resources, same thing. And I think you had an appointment, bro, right?
Yeah, I had a couple appointments, but different city, almost same story, only with the only difference that they said, okay, they're going to get back to me. And but at the end of the day, it was not successful at all, you know. And that was like, I think 3 years ago now. And the same experience. And you know, at some point when you get so many no's, you have to be realistic enough to be like, okay, maybe, you know what, this industry is maybe not for me, even though it approached you. Maybe it's just not for you, because obviously there's so
you have these conversations, bro, right?
Yeah, because obviously,
yeah, man.
Like obviously there's so many models out there. Not everyone can smash it. Not everyone can work on a regular basis, and there's still a few, you know, that.
So you had a lot of self-doubt, right?
Yeah, a lot of self-doubts, because you know, in this industry, one thing I learned, like you should never take something very personally. It's never about you, 100% not, because it's just the way you are.
It's just a business, man. Yeah. It's a business decision, right?
It's just a business decision. At the end of the day, you just look the way you look, and you just a product in that sense. Either you look the way that they want to, you know, sell you to someone selling, or you don't. And it kind of took me a while to understand that, because it took me some time. Sometimes I thought, okay, maybe I'm just too ugly. Not in a way that I was thinking, okay, you're so ugly or whatever. But it kind of did something with my
self-confidence, self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem. Are you ugly, or
Am I probably too dark? Am I too light? Am I too small? All these things, right?
All these things, all these things, that kind of bothers you, went through your mind. But yeah, I remember like it was yesterday, not gonna lie even.
I still remember, and I know every scene of it when we were in Milano and we were talking about it. And there was one magical moment, bro, that I will never forget in my life, bro. I have goosebumps talking about the story, man, because we were in downtown and we were just walking a little bit around, and then we moved into that H&M, right? And we moved inside, and I think you wanted to buy something. You bought something, right? And then there was one guy. He looked very similar to him. It was more like his type, right? And I was like, man, I don't understand why you not up there, bro. I don't understand that. Like, why are you not there? Why is this guy there? Like, why are you not? And I was asking you that question, and we were like just standing in front of this picture, and we were just looking at it, man. I was like, one day, bro. One day. I was promising that. I was like, one day, you'll be on a big page. You'll be there. You'll have whatever you wanted to accomplish, man. And that was a really magical moment because it took him a lot of defeats. There was a lot of no's. And after Milano, man, you kept things going. And then a couple of months later, you did a big move, right? Like me, almost.
Yeah, I kind of needed a change in my life. And I thought, okay, I have to change stuff. Not necessarily for the modeling, because I just wanted to see a whole different side in my life, moving a little bit from Germany, get some new thoughts, meeting new people, traveling a bit more, and I did that step, and I was like, you know what, now that I'm in Sweden, let me just give it one shot. I have an agency in Germany who arranged everything for me, doing that. But like I said, the main purpose was that I just wanted to have a new experience abroad, and I just felt like, okay, let me just try it out there. And then that's what I did. I reached out for the agencies, and I went to castings, and yeah, it turns out to be one of the best decisions to ever make, because I encountered an agency that was always there for me and always up for any support that I needed, and believed in me and my abilities to get settled in that industry. And it turns out to be right. And yeah,
they always say that your success is right before you're about to quit. Going to London, getting 10 no's, going to Milano, having every agency to tell you no, coming back home and still not quitting, that is character to me, bro. That is really character to me. That's like an ongoing fighter. That's like a fighter to me. That's like somebody who's taken a lot of hits and who's been knocked on the ground and who's not stopping, And like I said, the quote is, your success is right before you're about to quit. He was almost about to quit, but he kept it going, and then he moved to Stockholm. What happened after that?
When I moved to Stockholm, I thought, okay, you know what? Let me just give it a different, like a new shot. Try it out. Let's see what can happen. And if it doesn't work out, cool. If not, if nice, yeah, So I just gave it a shot. Went to several castings. I remember that I was super nervous because you can imagine after going to several castings in the past and always getting no's, that your self-esteem is so low, even though that when you go to a casting you don't really feel confident anymore, And yeah, this agency really believed in me, and they trust in my abilities, and they wanted just to give it a shot as well, at least you get the chance. And yeah, I just said one more time, like, you have to see the difference between being realistic and someone who is just not made for it, because maybe I'm not even made for it, maybe it was just not for me. But there was something inside me that felt like, nah, you know what, just keep it going, because I'm very religious as well, I believe in God, and there was something that, just said to me, you know what, just keep going, and Aziz always, supported me where he can, and yeah.
Honestly, when he moved to Stockholm, and almost the same time, because he moved to Stockholm, I moved to Dubai. I come from a really, like most of y'all know, few 200 actually stands for me moving to Dubai with 200 euros, and he moved too, and we left the world, we left our hometowns to tackle the world, to accomplish, make everything happen, and just start a new life, And when I was here, and I was in my first year in Dubai, and he was already in Stockholm, and I saw on Instagram, I saw him on a big stage, like I saw him on a big picture, and I started to see him on H&M, and I started to see him on these big companies, like big brands like Puma and all that. You know what? I had a smile on my face, because like I said, when I talk about this magical moment, I talk about this, and I think about this, that you take so many hits, you take so many challenges, and you never quit, you never do, and you keep it going. Crazy things happen in your life later on, and I just put a smile on my face when I saw that, because it actually made me not quit here. It made me not quit here. When I think about my story, I came into Dubai 20-year-old with different people, you know, the whole time, and then seeing him winning, seeing him, that really changed something in me too, because I knew it's gonna happen. I knew things are gonna get better. I knew that, because he was a living example of not quitting and taking all these hits, you know, and never quitting, bro. Like, what means quitting to you, bro? Like, do you ever really even think about quitting?
Obviously, I think about quitting because I think every human does, you know, when you get at some point where you don't see any hope, any motivation anymore. But as you just said, like, it's easier said than done than keeping going. And it might sound like a, you know, like a phrase that you always say, you know, keep going, and it's very not that easy. And as I said, you have to be very realistic, because sometimes maybe it's just not for you, and then you still take a lesson out of this, you know. And quitting to me, or not to stop, not to quit, means that you have such a huge, you know, desire, drive to make it happen, you know. And I think, like, I believe so, at least, if you try something so hard and if you keep going every time, and eventually
you will hit a point where you will get better, and things will slightly change a little bit.
100%. That's what I believe as well. Like, with the, you know, the needed support, encouragement from your closest people, like you did, family or whatever, you will 100% make it. You know, there are people out there suffering so much under their goals and whatever, trying to make it out there, you know, and maybe they're lacking of the support. And the support that I had, you know, pushed me 100%. And it might look always fancy and stuff, the things that you do out there, but people don't see the struggle behind that. But that's
bro,
cool.
People don't see the struggle, and the light is not always on. You know, it's not always green out there, man. It's not always beautiful out there, but everybody tells you that never quit, you know. But I always saw people, you know, that they quit and then they go home and they tell everybody what they used to do, you know. And I never wanted to be in that position, man. I always wanted to show everybody that I can do it, and he too. And this quote that I said, and I'll say it one more time, that your success is right before you're about to quit. Just keep going. Just dig a little harder. You know, he took almost 20 no's to get one single yes, to have somebody to book you.
Yeah. And I just want to refer also to your struggle as well, because I remember very well before you left, and you've been working at the airport, you worked also at the club in Germany, you know, out there, and then your job was just to collecting the bottles.
I hated that job, bro.
Imagine. And now seeing you here, you know, doing what you do, you know, loving what you do, and at this beautiful place, it just makes me smile, because I know your struggle. I know where you came from. I remember you telling me all the time, like, you know, bro, this whole place is not for me. I gotta move. I want to experience something different. I want to do something big, you know. And traveling with you to this, you know, destinations that we've been to so far showed me that he's a guy who's definitely out there. You can put this guy no matter where, and he will 100% survive and find a way to get out of it, you know. And I think that's a life skill, you know. Not everyone owns this life skill to be able to get out of certain, you know, situations. We're 100% still not there. I can talk about myself.
Yeah, they call me like a survival king. Like, put me out there in every place in the world, and I find a way to get out there. And it wasn't always like that, you know. I was pretty shy when I was growing up, but as encountered a lot of challenges, and as moving on, as having to deal, because I grew up with no father, you know, I had to do everything myself, and make me be really responsible for myself. When I came to Dubai, like, there was no way to quit. Like, there was no place to. I hated. I don't like Germany. I don't like to live there. I moved for a reason out of Germany, because I don't like it. So there was no way to go back. Like, I put myself in a position where it's like, you have to do it, or you're gonna sink. Do it. Just there's no other option between. Like, you have to do it or sink or swim. I wanted to swim, bro.
Yeah, I hear you still. And you know, the struggle that made you the reason why you're here now, it's like so impressive. If you listen to someone's story and the story is similar like that, like, you can really tell. And this is for real. It's not even bullshitting. It's not even that you lying or whatever, because I've been witnessing this whole story, and you've been witnessing my story. You know, it's crazy, and I'm still not there where I want to be. You are probably not there.
I'm not even at 5%, bro. You're not even at 5%. Like, young guy, 25 years old, you haven't even done anything yet, man.
And there's still people out there smashing it way more than me, you know, and it's totally fine with me, 100%. And one thing that I noticed as well, like, that you have to stop comparing yourself to others. It's the journey. It's the journey that you just have for yourself with no one else out there, you know, and that was something that I have to keep in my mind as well, because I always kept comparing myself to other people, you know, why him, why not me, you know, why this, why not what, you know. But I stopped all that shit, because I just noticed, you know what, it's just not about those comparisons, it's more about you having your race in your pace, you know. And
sometimes, man, sometimes people tell me, hey, you know, you're not there where you want to be. You don't have this, you don't have that. And then I always say, people, man, you have no idea where I come from. You have no idea how I came here, man. I came here with a backpack. I came here with 2 pairs of shoes. Like, you can only compare your life to your life. You cannot compare your life to other people's who are like 10 steps ahead of you. You know, you can compare your life only to you and your soul. And from the progress that you have made from the point you got here, or from the point on where you have started, that is just really important. When you have started and you're being very bad in something, and you have accomplished certain things, that you crushed it, and you did something against the odds, then it's really good for you. You can only compare your life to where you started. Don't compare your life to someone who's already been 10 years in the game. He cannot compare himself to somebody who's been a model for the past 15 years, because the guy's obviously a little further than him. He can only compare his life to 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there was nothing in his life. There was no jobs that he had. Now, 5 years later, you moving out of Dubai on Thursday, right? What's going on Thursday?
Moving out on Thursday?
You're leaving Dubai on Thursday, right? But then you have jobs.
Then you're still working. You still have jobs going on.
He's busy. The whole point, he's busy, man. Like, 5 years ago, he wasn't. Now he's busy with jobs. Compare your life. You can only compare your life to where you started. Am I right?
100%. And if your groups, what I can recommend is, like, if your people don't support you in the things that you do, bro, or whatever, you have to look for different kind of people, you know, that support you, got your back in whatever you do, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is. Like, go look for other people who support your dream as well, you know. And
I believe if you have nobody to support you,
it's tough, man.
It's tough, man. It's a tough world, man. It's a cold world, but don't stop. Just because somebody or your friends, they don't understand your dreams, they don't understand what you want to do, they don't understand you want to move to a place, you want to move somewhere else, you want to start a different journey. Don't let anybody tell you that you can. You probably heard that a lot. Believe in yourself, and you know how you can do that. Just tell yourself you can do it, man, and go out and you will find other people who are going to support you. You will find them. You'll find them, you know. But don't always. A lot of the times when I feel like in Germany, everybody wanted me to be low with them. Nobody wanted me to rise up. You know, that's the kind of vibe that I got. And coming to Dubai, and I saw so many successful people. It really did a lot with me. You know, seeing so much success and getting around other successful people.
What did people say out there in Germany to you since you got all this success?
Everything, you know, my mom, like, people, including my family, they always said I would fantasize too much and I would have a big fantasy and things were impossible, and living to Dubai was like, oh, you fantasizing too much. But you know what? Almost 2 years later, I live in Dubai. I'm here, and I've been here for the past 2 years almost. And look where we are, you know, we just hanging out, we're having a good time, me and my boy, and talking about life challenges, talking about that things are not always green, things are not always good. But eventually they'll get better if you just continue, you know. So that's actually the whole point that we wanted to share with you guys today, that, you know, when you start, you can be a beginner, you can be a loser. You don't have to start to be great, but just start to become somebody, just to become great, you know. And the road will not always be green.
Even now, you're still fighting. You know, even now that you kind of made it, but you kind of actually not made it yet, because you're still on the journey. You will still face stuff. Like, even me, I will still face stuff. You know, I'm still not big as I want to be. And even if I don't get big, I just reach my personal goal, you know.
You did something for your life, no matter what people are going to say, that nobody would have expected you to do, because nobody would have went the extra mile after getting almost 20-30 no's personally, face to face, going to a different country and still standing and still continuing and still going. You did something that is really, really, you can be really proud of, man.